I told myself that I won't kit bash another model until I paint the last one I made. And, well, unexpectedly, every day my appreciation for painting miniatures grows. This is today's effort. Painted in oil paints, very retro scheme. I'm kind of working out a system, and I'm painting pretty efficiently, honestly. Part of the narrative for the orc was that it was once a human and then got transformed into half an orc by this fungus. I think these little sculpted things are meant to be feet, so I just picked them out a little bit. So now it looks like it can wander around. I've been working on my Mordheim warband, and today I wish to use Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay as reference to create my hide sword, which is a black orc. The black orcs are the largest and most terrible of all goblinoid races. Their awesome size and strength is reputed to be the result of age-old tribal cannibalism, where the smaller and weaker orcs are eaten, often alive. This violent method of selective breeding, known in orc terms as runt noshing, has produced a breed of orc that carries all the most evil traits to the very worst excesses. Black orcs normally dress in filthy, tattered furs with pieces of armor scavenged from the battlefield. Helmets are worn by those who can obtain and keep them. The larger and more elaborate a helmet, the greater the prowess of the wearer. Black orcs are by far the largest of the goblinoid races. Their squat, powerfully muscled bodies range from 6 to 8 feet in height, and they are almost as broad as they are tall. Okay, let me take you on a tour with what I've come up with. This is my black orc, and it barely has any orc parts on it at all. This head is from like an old chaos ogre. I just thought it looked kind of in scale, it looked kind of orky already, and I wanted the facial features to be a little bit different to the standard orc. It did have a beard though, but I shaved that off. Now, the top part of the body, this is actually a black orc body, but like one of the modern plastic kits. The legs, however, are from some sort of Nurgle, like Chosen, a pretty modern kit. I just cut it in half. This belly plate, this is a Kev Adams shield that I got from Foundry in the UK. This arm is from an Avatar of War Demon, and this arm is also from that Chaos Ogre. And scavenged plates and stuff, I think these are mostly just from the Nurgle kits. That's an orc with very few actual orc bits. But it does need some fur, and it does need some final polishing before it can be painted. So, to make fur, I have really no idea what I'm doing when it comes to making fur. I assume if I just mix up a little bit of milliput, and I guess kind of just cram it into where I want fur to go. That seems good. Squish it in there. And then I guess just make little stripy bits. That doesn't really look like fur, does it? Maybe we just need to work it more. I feel like that's not too bad, really. That should paint up just fine, right? So to smooth out some of the mistakes, some of the bad sculpting, some of the bad filing, I'm using sprue goo. Sprue goo is literally sprue melted in plastic glue. And it's kind of a magic material because it hides a lot of crimes. It's very easy to use and it's very cheap to make. The best combination of stuff. Okay, with all the sprue goo applied, this is what we've got. I also added the shield at the back. It's got this fish pegged to it. And, well, fish is like a motif that gets used quite a lot with Mordheim, so I thought it was kind of appropriate. I've cleaned up that chin too to make sure that there's no hair on it, so it looks nice and orky. I also shaved the nose a little bit to make it look a little bit more orky. I did something really dumb and I broke off the arm, and then I re-glued it, and now the axe actually sits lower than the base, so I need to fix that. So right now it doesn't sit on the table, but We got something. Okay, so this is really bloody cool. Yesterday I talked about Forbidden Psalm, because lots of people have been talking to me about Forbidden Psalm. And basically within like less than 24 hours, Will, who made Forbidden Psalm, came up with this. Forbidden Miscast. Rules for Forbidden Psalm to hire my models as mercenaries. Isn't this so sick? So sick. So really now there is no excuse for me not to be playing Forbidden Psalm. I don't know, can I use my own models? Is that weird? I always feel that way. Like, I always make models and stuff that I would want to use. These are 100% models that I would love to use on the table, but them actually being my models and me using them, is that like wearing your own merch? I don't know. I don't know if that's cool. But for you, if you have my models, or maybe you want to kit bash models to look like mine, you've got bloody rules now. They're on Smash Bash. I'll put a link in the description. They're free. Thank you so much, Will. That is so rad. If Permadeath ever downs a model, it is instead killed and cannot be brought back. That is a sick rule. Perfect. So while I was looking for bits to make my Black Orc out of, I found this. Not sure what set this is from or how old it is. Maybe you can help me out. But we're absolutely going to strip it. Please don't let me forget. I always forget to take stuff out of this. Nah, I can't be bothered. We'll do it next time. You know, considering that this is made out of like 6 different models, I think this looks pretty good. Pretty cohesive. Honestly, I think that Sprugu did a lot of the heavy lifting. Like, if you look in the kind of the cracks and crevices, you can really see how it blends it all together. So it looks like one continuous piece of metal. Yeah, this is something for sure. You know, I really wasn't expecting to enjoy painting so much. And I think what has changed has been the approach. Going one model at a time, focusing on one specific model rather than painting everything to look uniform or be efficient. Really reminds me of being a kid again and just painting because you're excited about the models and not because you have a goal like having an army to play with, you know? And I think as soon as I changed my mentality about painting to be efficient, I think I stopped enjoying painting so much. Or like, it never really felt worth it to do it recreationally. Like, it only ever felt worth it to get a job done, which is why I'd like leave everything to the last minute and just blast everything out as quickly as I could. But going day by day, model by model, I'm learning things, I'm experimenting, and I feel like I have permission to experiment too. Like, you know, all the paint that's on this fungus fella, you know, that's totally experimenting with like, I don't know, what happens if I like really water down the paint? What happens if I use a bit of solvent? What happens if I flick spider paint on there? What if I lay down different layers of color and then pull it back? You know, like that experimentation is what you miss by just trying to be efficient. I'm 100% very excited to paint tomorrow. Who would have bloody thought?